She never understood human laughter until a neural link made her feel it. First contact with feeling. Dr. Zara Volkov pressed her palm against the cool metal wall of the observation deck, watching the twin stars of the Kepler system paint shifting shadows across the research station's corridors. 3 years she'd spent developing the emotional neural interface, and today would determine if bridging the gap between human and alien consciousness was possible, or just the fevered dream of an overly ambitious neuroscientist. Nervous energy won't help the calibrations, came a melodic voice behind her. Zara turned to see Nexus Thren approaching with his characteristic fluid gait, his crystalline blue skin catching the starlight like living sapphire. The Catherian's large silver eyes held no trace of anxiety, a luxury his species enjoyed with their purely logical neural architecture. Easy for you to say, Zara replied, adjusting the neural interface headset in her hands. Your people don't experience anxiety, or excitement, or the particular terror that comes with potentially frying someone's brain with experimental technology. Nexus tilted his head, a gesture he'd learned from observing humans. An inefficient emotional response. The probability calculations indicate a 97.3% chance of safe neural bridge establishment, and the other 2.7%? Temporary disorientation, possibly lasting 37 minutes. Zara couldn't help but smile at his precision. The Catherians had been humanity's first contact with intelligent alien life, and their partnership had proven invaluable, their analytical minds complementing human creativity perfectly. But after 5 years of cooperation, both species remained mysteries to each other in fundamental ways. You're absolutely certain about volunteering? Zara asked as they entered the laboratory. The neural interface chamber hummed with soft blue light. Banks of monitors displaying readouts she'd memorized but still found beautiful in their complexity. Curiosity is a logical drive, Nexus replied, settling into the interface chair with practiced ease. My species seeks to understand human emotional processing. Direct experience offers the most complete dataset. Commander Roth Sterling looked up from his security console near the chamber's entrance. All external monitoring is active, Doc. If anything goes wrong, we'll have complete records for analysis. The graying commander had overseen dozens of experimental procedures, but Zara could see the tension in his shoulders. Thank you, Roth. Zara began attaching the neural sensors to Nexus's temples, her fingers steady despite her racing pulse. Remember, we're starting with simple emotional responses. Laughter seemed like the safest entry point. Positive, non-threatening, universally human. The concept remains abstract to me, Nexus said as the final sensor clicked into place. Humor appears to be a malfunction in human logic processing that somehow produces pleasure. That's one way to look at it. Zara laughed, then caught herself. Actually, you're about to understand exactly what I just did. Ready? Affirmative. Zara moved to her control station, running through the final system checks. The neural bridge would temporarily rewire Nexus's emotional processing centers to mirror human responses, allowing him to feel what humans felt, understand what they understood. If it worked, it would revolutionize interspecies cooperation. If it failed, neural bridge initiating, she announced, activating the primary sequence. Synaptic mapping at 15%, 30%, 50%. Nexus's silver eyes widened slightly as the connection strengthened. I perceive alterations in my thought patterns, emotional subroutines coming online. That's normal. Your brain is learning to process stimuli like a human brain. We'll start simple. Zara pulled up a holographic display showing a classic human comedy routine. A clumsy character slipping on a banana peel, arms windmilling wildly before crashing into a fountain. The effect was immediate and startling. Nexus's normally composed features twisted into an expression of confusion. Then, something unprecedented happened. His mouth curved upward. The sound that emerged was strangled at first, a choking gasp, then transformed into something neither human nor Catherian had ever heard before. Alien laughter. It started as a low, musical trill, unlike human laughter but unmistakably joyful. Nexus doubled over, his crystalline skin rippling with colors Zara had never seen, deep purples and golds that pulsed in rhythm with his newfound mirth. The sound built, becoming richer, more complex, until tears leaked from his silver eyes. What? He gasped between waves of laughter. What is happening to me? This sensation is illogical, but wonderful, Zara suggested, grinning as she watched the first Cytherian in history experience humor. Wonderful, Nexus repeated, testing the word as another wave of laughter overtook him. The chemical cascade is, he gestured helplessly, unable to find words for the experience. Commander Sterling stepped closer, his weathered face creased with amazement. Incredible. His skin patterns are completely different. I've never seen those colors before. Emotional expression, Zara explained, pulling up Nexus's neural readouts. Humans blush, cry, laugh. Cytherians might have their own physical responses to emotion that we've never triggered before. The laughter gradually subsided, leaving Nexus staring at his hands in wonder. The physical sensations, the warmth in my chest region, the involuntary, muscular contractions. I understand now why humans value this experience. And we're just getting started, Zara said, cueing up the next sequence. Let's try something that combines humor with surprise. For the next hour, they explored the spectrum of human amusement. Slapstick comedy made Nexus giggle, a sound like crystal chimes. Wordplay triggered quick bursts of delight that made his skin flash silver and gold. Absurdist humor produced deep rolling laughter that seemed to surprise him each time. The complexity is staggering, Nexus said during a brief pause, wiping tears from his eyes with movements that still seemed foreign to him. Each type of humor triggers different neural pathways, different physical responses, and the social component, the desire to share this experience with others, is overwhelming. That's why humans laugh together, Zara explained. It's bonding behavior. We're literally sharing an emotional experience. Yes, Nexus said, his voice filled with wonder. I feel connected to you in a way that pure data exchange cannot achieve. This is profound. Commander Sterling cleared his throat. Not to interrupt this breakthrough moment, but we're approaching the planned session duration. Neural fatigue could be dangerous. Zara checked her chronometer, startled to find that 90 minutes had passed. You're right. Nexus, how are you feeling? Any discomfort? Fatigue, yes, but also reluctance for this to end. Nexus looked at her with an expression she'd never seen on a Cytherian face. Genuine affection mixed with gratitude. This has been the most illuminating experience of my existence. We'll have more sessions, Zara promised, beginning the disconnection sequence. This is just the beginning. As the neural bridge powered down, Nexus's skin gradually returned to its normal crystalline blue, but something in his eyes remained changed. The absolute logic was still there, but now tempered with something new. A glimmer of understanding that hadn't existed before. The emotional echoes are fading, he reported clinically, then paused. But not entirely. I retain the memory of feeling and the understanding it provided. Any residual effects? Commander Sterling asked, running his security scans. Minor, Nexus replied, though Zara noticed he touched his temples gently, as if nursing a headache. Some continued sensitivity in the neural pathways we activated. Nothing concerning. As they finished the post-session protocols, Zara felt a profound sense of accomplishment. They'd done it, successfully bridged the emotional gap between two species. The implications were staggering. Better cooperation, deeper understanding, perhaps even friendship in ways neither species had imagined possible. Same time tomorrow? She asked as Nexus prepared to leave. Definitely, he replied, and for the first time a Cytherian used a human expression of enthusiasm. I find myself looking forward to it. After he left, Zara remained in the laboratory, reviewing the session data. Every reading indicated complete success. No neural damage, no adverse effects, just the beautiful sight of understanding blooming across species barriers. She had no way of knowing that the neural bridge had forged connections deeper than intended, pathways that would continue to influence Nexus long after the equipment was powered down. The echo of human emotion had taken root in his alien mind, and tomorrow would bring revelations none of them expected. The ripple effect Dr. Zara Volkov found Nexus hunched over a data terminal in the station's xenobiology lab, his crystalline blue skin flickering with erratic patterns of purple and gold, colors that shouldn't have been possible without the neural interface active. Dark circles shadowed his large silver eyes, and his normally perfect posture had deteriorated into something almost human in its exhaustion. "You look terrible," she said, setting down 2 cups of stimulant tea. "How long have you been here?" 17 hours, 43 minutes. Nexus replied without looking up from his calculations. "I've been analyzing the neurochemical cascades from yesterday's session, attempting to understand why the effects persist." Zara's stomach dropped. "What effects?" Nexus finally turned to face her, and she saw something in his expression that made her breath catch. Pain. Not physical discomfort, but genuine emotional distress. "I keep feeling things that aren't there." Phantom laughter bubbling up during serious research, moments of inexplicable joy when observing mundane phenomena, and worse. He paused, his skin cycling through deep purples. "Empathy. Empathy isn't worse. It is for a Catherian," came a new voice from the laboratory entrance. Lyra Castell glided in with the fluid grace typical of their species, but her usual serene demeanor carried undertones of concern. As the station's Catherian cultural attaché, Lyra served as liaison between the 2 species, and right now she looked deeply troubled. "Lyra," Nexus acknowledged with a formal nod. "I assume you've come to discuss my behavioral anomalies." "The entire Catherian community is discussing them," Lyra replied, settling gracefully into a chair. Her skin remained its normal crystalline blue, steady, logical, controlled. "You laughed during yesterday's council meeting, actual laughter, Nexus, at a statistical analysis report." The irony of the data correlation was amusing, Nexus said defensively, then caught himself. "See? Even now I'm experiencing emotional responses to abstract concepts. This is highly irregular." Zara felt guilt clawing at her chest. "I'm so sorry. The neural bridge was supposed to be temporary. All our models indicated complete reversal within hours. Your models didn't account for neuroplasticity in Catherian. Neural architecture," Lyra said, though her tone held no accusation. "Our brains are designed for logical consistency, but they're also highly adaptive. The emotional pathways you activated have begun to integrate into Nexus's core processing systems." "Which means," Zara asked, though she dreaded the answer, "the changes may be permanent." Nexus answered quietly. "I am becoming something unprecedented. A Catherian who feels human emotions." The implications hit Zara like a physical blow. She'd potentially altered an entire person's neurological structure, changed the fundamental nature of who he was. "We need to bring in a specialist, someone who understands both human and Catherian neurology." "Already done," Commander Sterling announced, entering with a tall, lean man whose prematurely gray hair and tired eyes spoke of long experience with complicated problems. "Dr. Marcus Webb, xenopsychologist from the Europa Research Institute. He arrived on this morning's transport." Dr. Webb stepped forward, extending his hand to Zara, before remembering Catherian greeting customs and switching to a formal bow toward by Nexus and Lyra. "I've reviewed your initial reports. Fascinating work, though the complications are significant." "Can you reverse it?" Nexus asked directly. Webb's hesitation lasted only a moment, but it was enough. "Theoretically, yes, we could. Attempt to disrupt the new neural pathways, force your brain back to its original configuration. But it would be dangerous," Zara finished, "possibly causing permanent damage to his core cognitive functions. And there's another consideration," Webb continued gently. "The question of whether reversal is actually advisable. Nexus, how do you feel about potentially losing these new capabilities?" The question hung in the air like a charged particle, Nexus's skin cycled through several color patterns: purple confusion, gold contemplation, silver uncertainty, before settling into deep blue thoughtfulness. Yesterday, while reviewing agricultural reports from the hydroponic bays, I observed technician James struggling with a complex calculation, Nexus said slowly. In the past, I would have noted his inefficiency and moved on. Instead, I felt concern for his frustration. I approached and offered assistance not because it was logical or efficient, but because I wanted to alleviate his distress. And how did that feel? Webb asked. Wonderful, Nexus admitted, his skin brightening slightly. The gratitude in his expression, the moment of connection when understanding was achieved. These sensations added meaning to the interaction beyond mere data exchange. Lyra's skin flickered with what Zara was learning to recognize as Catherian distress patterns. But you're losing your essential nature, Nexus, the logical purity that defines our species. Am I? Nexus turned to face her fully. Or am I gaining something that our species has been missing? Lyra, when was the last time you felt joy in your work? Not satisfaction in completed tasks, but genuine joy in the process of discovery. Joy is inefficient, Lyra replied automatically. Is it? Nexus challenged. Yesterday's laughter episode during the council meeting, you said it was inappropriate. But the statistical correlation I found amusing led me to identify a flaw in our mineral extraction projections. The inefficient emotional response actually enhanced my analytical capabilities. Dr. Webb made notes on his tablet. Fascinating. The emotional processing isn't replacing logical function, it's augmenting it. Nexus, are you experiencing any negative emotions? Fear, anger, sadness? Nexus's skin darkened. Yes. This morning I felt profound sadness while observing the memorial wall in Sector 7. The weight of loss, the pain of separation. Emotions that had been abstract concepts became visceral experiences. He paused. It was terrible and beautiful, simultaneously. That's the human condition, Zara said softly. We don't get to choose which emotions we feel. Joy comes with sorrow, love with loss. I'm beginning to understand why humans create art, Nexus continued. The need to express these internal experiences, to share them with others. It's a logical response to emotional complexity. Lyra stood abruptly, her skin cycling through rapid patterns of agitation. This is exactly what the Council fears. You're becoming less Catherian with each passing hour. Or I'm becoming the first of a new kind of Catherian, Nexus replied calmly. Evolution through conscious choice, rather than random mutation. The room fell silent as the implications of his words sank in. They weren't just dealing with an individual medical case, they were potentially witnessing the birth of a new form of consciousness. Dr. Webb broke the silence. There's something else to consider. If the neural pathways continue to develop, Nexus might eventually experience the full spectrum of human emotion, including the darker aspects. Depression, anxiety, rage, emotions that could be overwhelming for someone not raised to manage them. Then teach me, Nexus said immediately. Humans learn emotional regulation from childhood. Surely an adult consciousness can acquire these skills through instruction. It's not that simple, Webb warned. Emotional development is tied to psychological growth, social learning, cultural context. We'd essentially be asking you to undergo accelerated emotional childhood while maintaining your adult responsibilities. The alternative is losing what I've gained, Nexus said, and for the first time Zara heard something like desperation in his voice. Yesterday, I experienced wonder while watching the sunrise through the observation deck. Pure, uncomplicated. Joy at the beauty of photons refracting through atmospheric particles. Can you understand what it means to feel beauty for the first time in your existence? Lyra's skin had gone completely still, a sign of deep internal conflict. The Council will want to study you, potentially isolate you to prevent contamination of other Catherians. Let them try, Nexus said with heat that surprised everyone. I volunteer for continued study, but I won't be caged for becoming more than I was. Commander Sterling stepped forward. As station security chief, I can guarantee Nexus's right to remain here as long as he chooses. But Lyra's right. This situation is bigger than just one individual. We need protocols for managing human Catherian neural integration. Assuming others want it, Zara added. They will, Nexus said with certainty. Once they understand what they're missing, how could they not? Dr. Webb looked thoughtful. We could establish a controlled program. Voluntary participants, careful monitoring, gradual integration rather, than the sudden activation Nexus experienced. You're talking about fundamentally altering an entire species, Lyra protested. No. Nexus corrected gently. I'm talking about giving them a choice. The choice to remain as they are, or to become something more. Zara watched the interplay of emotions across Nexus's face. Determination, hope, fear, excitement. A complexity of expression no Catherian had ever shown before. What do you want, Nexus? Forget the implications, forget the politics. What do you personally want? He was quiet for a long moment, his skin settling into a pattern of soft gold and silver that seemed almost peaceful. I want to feel tomorrow's sunrise the way I felt yesterday's. I want to experience the full spectrum of existence, even if it includes pain. I want to understand what it means to be truly alive. Then that's what we'll work toward, Zara decided. Carefully, safely, but we'll help you navigate this new existence. As the meeting concluded and the others departed, Nexus lingered in the laboratory. Zara, he called as she gathered her equipment. Thank you. For potentially ruining your life? For showing me that I had a life to ruin, he replied with a smile, still an alien expression on his crystalline features, but growing more natural each time. And for giving me the choice to make it something better. Outside the laboratory, windows. The twin stars of the Kepler system painted new patterns of light and shadow across the station's corridors. Change was coming to both species, carried on the neural pathways of one brave individual who chose to feel rather than simply think. The age of pure logic was ending. The age of emotional understanding had begun.